Hello, I'm Mantastic'c and Fantastic, and today I want to talk about my thought process for team building a variety of different teams in Puzzle & Dragons. So, first up, I want to talk about how Kallen and Euphemia from Code Geass Club can be built by following this structured team building checklist that I've comprised in terms of like things that you must bring, as well as more luxurious secondary optional things that are nice to bring, but I would not prioritize those over the original checklist. Now, with that being said, if you know a given dungeon has a specific mechanic that you need to counter, obviously that will take greater priority. This video and thought process is just to illustrate trying to build a relatively generic team, so to speak, that should be able to overcome the vast majority of given dungeons. Obviously, if you fail at some point because of a certain mechanic, you want to obviously try and address that. So the first thing you need to bring for any given team is enough effective skill boosts to transform as needed. So for Kallen and Euphemia, if you take a look at Euphemia, she needs 33 to transform, and then she gives 2 turns of haste. On the other hand, Kallen gives, or requires, 37 to transform which she needs 37 to transform is the problem. So like 33 plus 2 haste kind of gets to 35. So I guess kind of like a soft cap for this particular team would be 35 effective skill boosts to get, well, like 33 skill boosts to get Euphemia to transform. Then you go to 35. Then you need 2 more after that. So just kind of keep that in mind. And for Euphemia, she does come naturally with 3. With a weapon assist, you can obviously bring that to more. So the team already has, with just the 2 leaders, no other zest, 7 skill boosts. The next thing you need to figure out is consistent leader skill activation. And for both Kallen and Euphemia, you need to have Fire and Heart Orb activation. And Kallen only generates Fire Orbs at random. So you need to either bring some sort of system to generate Fire and Heart Orbs on a short cooldown. It either could be a 2 to 3 turn cooldown, or you utilize spinners or in order to like fish out the extra orbs. In the case of Kallen and Euphemia, it could be like 2 Shaynas or Theodrax in any combination, or a looping spinner in order to, fish out the required orbs. You need to bring a cleric. Like, there's no other option around it. You just need to bring a cleric, because if you get awoken bind or unmatchable, you can't activate your leader skill, you're going to have an absolutely terrible time moving forward. Luckily, Euphemia comes with your clericing needs, so that part is already addressed naturally. You must bring some sort of damage and attribute absorption solution. Usually it's directly through active skills. Sometimes, depending on the types of teams you run, you might be able to run the attribute absorption latent. Cool if you do, but you still need damage absorption. You need a damage void solution, and this is either going to be how you match 3x3 boxes and therefore penetrate through, or you utilize an active skill directly. Next is something that is only necessary if you are reliant on spinners, and that is tape resist, because if you are reliant on spinners to trigger your leader skill, and the spinner is put on the edge and then it gets taped over, you can't utilize the spinner, you're going to die. That's a problem. So I find tape resist to be the most important resist, especially if you are reliant on spinners for your activation. You want to bring at least 1 card of 2 or more L awakenings, and this is to utilize the 6 latent slot assist void recovery latent, because you're then able to put back your assist, which would probably have been a devastating outcome otherwise. And with that being said, for that L owning card, make sure that their main and sub attributes at least line up with the colors you're actually trying to match. You want to bring 100% skillbind resist, because 80% is going to most likely fail at some point and you'll be kind of sad. And then finally, everyone should be bind immune. So if you take a look-see on the right-hand side, I kind of simplified that list and just kind of went through that more detailed explanation. So what are we going to do? We're going to try and build a Kallen team from scratch. So remember, we get 3 skill boosts from friend, possibly a 4th or 5th depending on their weapon assist. So our goal is to really get to 35, so to speak, because Euphemia does give you those 2 extra turns of haste on a 33 turn cooldown when she transforms. So skill boosts are going to come along as I build the team, and as I mentioned before, we want to have orb generation needs fulfilled. So you could utilize Shayna twice. Like, I have a bunch of Shaynas. You might as well use her, and each of those, well, they have weapon assist, but they could have potentially more skill boosts. So they have base 3s So then total with that weapon assist of 2 more, I have 12. Friend is 15. It's going to get there, but it takes some time. One thing to keep in mind is Shayna's do at least have a delay built into their active skill when they transform, so that can be seen as an extra 3 turns of effective skill boost if you know you can delay turn 1. And then in theory, because there's 2 of them, and if you could survive one of those incoming hits, you delay, stall, 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 get hit, hopefully you live, redelay, stall, stall, stall. It is a possible option. Conversely, if you have Fiadrak, I only have 1 as a weapon assist, but if you utilize him in his Super Reincarnated Evolution, he has only 2 skill boosts, but it could be 4, but he may also just get a Levitate instead. But it's a 2-turn base cooldown, which you can inherit over top, like Big Haste, Big Delay, something that's going to get you going. You can mix and match Shayna and Fiadrak. They both at least make fire and heart orbs, and they give a little extra zest depending on which effect you're actually going to be utilized. Fiadrak gives you a recovery buff, and it gives himself damage buff. Shayna's give just a damage cap buff, but they generate a few more orbs. So in theory, I think having 1 of each could be sometimes nice, because at least you always have that RCV buff going on. But again, maybe you don't have Shayna's, maybe you don't have Fiadraks, and that's going to be obviously a little bit of a frustrating aspect. So another option you can utilize is, because remember, Kallen does have a 1-turn cooldown, which does generate 4 fire orbs. So technically that will help you out in terms of orb generation needs, and you utilize someone with a looping spinner. Kaname Ohige from this Code Geass collab can fulfill those requirements. He has 6 skill boosts, so he'll get yourself transformed. He has the big stats, and he has a 5-turn cooldown that gives you a single turn of big damage reduction, as well as orb movement time and a spinner for 5 turns. So you get 1 turn of big shield and 5 turns of spinner plus movement time. This, in conjunction with your leader, can technically solve all your orb generation needs. Obviously, Shayna and Fiadrak makes it more brainless by comparison, but this still works, is my point. And you can utilize this to generate your orbs, and then you can start squeezing in your other stuff. The next thing you need to bring is a cleric. Your friend leader will provide that cleric need, so don't need to worry about that whatsoever. You need to bring some sort of damage and attribute absorption solution. So what I usually do is I type in absorb, not B, it's P. And you can filter it by whatever you like. I could filter by, like, say, red. Maybe I'll make it a main attribute. Things you could do to add a little extra zest is, I'm looking ahead, I need to find someone with L's. So maybe if I want to do this, I will put 2 L's like that. And suddenly there's a few options of cards that are available. So Rawberry is someone who can be utilized, because when she transforms, it's a single turn of damage and attribute absorption cancellation with a 7x6 board. So that can be nice. With these enhanced Heart of Awakenings, you will be able to heal up tremendously. She does have strong stats, especially when the aging takes place or it's in a yin dungeon. Option there. Conversely, something more accessible you can make arguments for is Gilgamesh Kur. Gilgamesh Kur can be utilized as well. Doesn't have skill delay resist latents, but it gives you 2 turns of haste. Can have up to 4 skill boosts, which is nice. And it also brings you that 2 turns of absorption cancellation and a bunch of L's, so you can put back your assists. So let's say in the interim, I will pick this because Gilgamesh is quote-unquote a reasonably accessible card. If you were wanting to play with the badge as like kind of a supplementary thing, you can potentially utilize someone that naturally has red. You could, in theory, use Anya and Modred, just so you don't have to worry about the attribute absorption or attribute sub-attribute changing. It does give you a shield break and a single turn of damage absorption, attribute absorption cancellation. Like, you can usually look within like Code Geass itself, like what you type is code, and then just go to all filter, and then I'll do absorb. So I can take a look and say, well, you only give damage absorption. It's not quite what I want. So it's like Anya or CC, which I don't have on this account. But like I said, you can definitely just utilize Gilgamesh Kur instead. The next big thing we need to find is damage void solution. So this team doesn't actually have a 3x3 anywhere. Shayna's, Fiadrax, neither of them have them. Your spinner doesn't have it. So you're probably going to need to bring someone with a damage penetration active skill. So we're going to pierce. We're going to filter by red. I like to do this. So I need someone who can penetrate. I'm never upset with Shizu because she does have big stats. She does do meaningful damage. She does also penetrate for 2 turns, destroys a shield. She is definitely an option I could bring. Taking a look-see through anyone else that looks appealing. I guess Christmas XD with a low cooldown could be potentially useful. Does come with some resist. Has that L to put my assist back, but I already have Gilgamesh doing that for me. So it's nice when you find solutions that overlap for multiple different problems. So let's say I just stick Shizu on the team here. So right away, I've got my piercing, I got my clericking, I've got my orb generation solved via spinners. Next is tape resist if I need spinners. So I'll find tape resist through a weapon assist at some point soon. 2 or more L's I have, so I'm good there. I will have 100% skill bind resist because that's just going to happen naturally, and people will be bind immune. So what I'm going to do now is kind of take a look-see at like the next most useful stuff to bring. So I've already got kind of a flex slot on this team, so to speak. So I could bring someone that makes an easier time activating orbs. I could bring someone who solves a variety of different problems, like say movement time debuffs or like RCV attack debuffing. It's just kind of like a flex slot based on what the dungeon needs at hand. So I'm not going to be utilizing the collab badge because I'm mixing and matching so many different cards here. And instead I'm going to try and focus on bringing a team HP. So it could be say like a looping shield. So in theory you could bring like say Kiori. Oops, don't know how to spell. Kiori could be a looping shield. He does have, unfortunately, a terrible amount of skill boost, but maybe we can like overcome that with weapon assist. He might do some damage. 410 combos is kind of a low amount at this point in time, but let's just say I stuck with that here. So I take a look-see. I have 19. I'm pretty far away, but I get 3 more, 4 more, let's say. So I'm at 23. I really need to get a few more effective skill boosts, either through haste or delays. So Gilgamesh Kur, this weapon assist is not helping me whatsoever, so I can change it to something with some skill boosts. So I usually would say, like, say 1 skill boost, and I would do Team HP Awakenings. Maybe I'll do 2 Team HP Awakenings. Why not? So I can sort by skill turns to make it so, like, if I don't want it to overcharge accidentally, it won't necessarily. So if I take a look-see here, like, Bartender Kurotobi could be a way, but I could also just stick on this vase. It's never a bad thing. It always has resists, and it's never going to overcharge, thankfully. So now my total's at 21, plus 4 is 25. We're getting there. Shizu can bring something, so her active skill that inherits is important, because Gilgamesh Kur is a transforming active, so his base skill is what's going to be used. So in this case here, I want to probably bring something that says Charge. And if I sort by skill turns, you can kind of guesstimate how much skill charge they bring. Like things that like say 12 turn cooldown, they're going to give maximum 2 turns of charging. Around 18 turns, it's going to give 3 turns of charging. So, like I said, 18 turn cooldown, 3 turns of charging. Not a good weapon assist, obviously, for this team, but I had to think, like, how much do I need? And then 24 turns is when you start to see, like, the extra turn of haste. So that's obviously not a helpful weapon. I like the vase. I'm just going to stick... I have a lot of vases. Maybe I'm overusing it, but like it's just kind of going through the idea of like double skill boost with haste. It's just something that I possibly utilize too much. I guess I could say like this is Alexander's weapon assist instead. Just to say like you don't have 2 vases. Let's say it's Alexander. I think people have Alexander's weapon assist. It has 2 skill boosts, a single team HP, a bunch of OEs. You need a bunch of OEs. It's something that's going to be important. So, looking at what my resists are, I have Poison, I have Blind, I have Tape already. So, where am I getting Tape from again? I get Tape from this guy. He brings lots of nice stuff. So, I've got most of the important resists beyond, like, say, Jammer Resist. I could possibly find a way to incorporate Jammer Resist onto my team. So, looking at him, he has a 5-turn cooldown, so I'll definitely inherit something on top that gives haste. So let's just do that. I'll select, we'll do charges. So kind of sorting by skill turns, I kind of get an idea of like how long a cooldown will be versus how much skill charge it will provide. So maybe I'll take Deuce Armor Hagios. It's 3 turns of haste, gives a skill boost, but it gives a bunch of team RCVs. Healing up is never going to be a bad outcome overall. And then Kallen's kind of a weird card in the sense that when they transform, it's a 1-turn cooldown. So in theory, whatever you inherit on top of them could be potentially utilized. It's a way for you to either supplement your orb generation if you need it because you're using a spinner, or if you have like orb generation solved with like Shayna Theodrak, you can utilize a inherit that will charge up quick enough that you can utilize on a regular basis. So, for instance, say you know that the dungeon you're in play has lots of Bind Awoken Binds. Maybe you inherit a Cleric-style active skill on top of her to get going. At this point in time, I'm probably just going to be utilizing her purely for her active skill to generate extra orbs and then just fishing a little bit because it's going to be a little annoying if I don't otherwise. So, with that being said, I don't care about the active skill's effect necessarily. I'm more concerned about the weapon awakening. So let's say I want to incorporate, say, Jam Resist. Do I have anything with skill boost and Jam Resist? I do have Misaka's card. It gives double team HP. It gives team RCV. Not a bad thing by any means. If I take this individual here, I gain more movement time, which may not be a bad thing because I am definitely utilizing spinners a bit more often. But let's say tentatively, I'll just stick this on. More movement time, a bit more bulk. And I look here, I'm at 26 skill boost. Friend gives me to 29 or 30. I'm definitely going to make this 37 requirement. I can sync awaken that later because I get 3 haste from here. I get 2 haste from here. Or I get 4 haste from her. And this I haven't even touched yet. This is still giving me 2 turns of haste. So like just right away here, if I take a look-see at it, I've got most things here. I've got some OEs from a bit of Alexander, a bit from the Vase. This does give a bit of OEs as well. Like I've got a good amount. So like let's say I'm going to go into Endless Corridors now. And I don't know how to spell. I'll just find it here. It should be pretty high up. People are probably using this card quite a bit. Whee! Nope, that's Pastel. Get out of here. Did I pass it? Is no one using this card? Holy fish, do I not have a single friend with that thing up? So, unfortunately, I don't have a friend with this up somehow. But 3 plus 1, I don't have this on either account either, but it'd be 4 skill boosts I could have potentially. So what I'm going to do is just bring someone that has like 3 or 4 skill boosts just to test this out, so to speak. So, like, I don't know, did this Pastel have an active? Doesn't give any haste, so that's awkward. I'm just going to try and find someone who has some similar amounts. Do you haste? I'm just trying to find someone. Nope, nope, nope. Jeez, this is annoying. This doesn't quite work out the way I wanted. Holy fish. You know, I'm just going to bring someone with 6 skill boosts. 6 skill boosts, it's almost the same as 4 skill boosts with 2 haste. So I just think this is the amount of skill boosts I would have effectively if I charged up. So I'm only 5 turns away, so I'm actually transforming everyone now. So then it's a matter of like picking which active skills I want to transform first. And to a certain extent, I probably have too many skill boosts, but I could just start transforming people. I probably need that spinner up sooner rather than later. So then she transforms with the delay. So like I said, the friend would have transformed and done their thing and been able to do stuff. So this team was able to fully transform immediately. I have all the resists I need. I can throw up that spinner. And because I've delayed it, I can just play with that Vase board. Don't have to really do much with it. But in theory, the rest of my turns would just be generating orbs from them and then, well, matching more things potentially. But my point is, the team at least functions and gets going. the leader pairing doesn't make sense. It doesn't actually trigger anything, but point of the matter is this team would work if you could find a friend, or maybe I'd monster exchange for it. And more so, the point of this exercise is to show that you can use a wide variety of options. I had too many skill boosts here, so in theory, I could take away skill boosts and add in like other useful things. Maybe more orb enhances, maybe more movement time if that's something that's a problem for myself. It's just a matter of customizing to the dungeon at hand. So with that being said, let me know if these types of videos are helpful or useful in the comment section down below. And if so, what teams would you be interested in seeing me kind of walk through, so to speak? Regardless of all that, hopefully all you lovely ladies and gentlemen have a truly fantastic day. I wish you best luck in your own pad adventures, and happy puzzling.